For over a year, children and their caregivers have been doing a remarkable job. But there's no denying that it's been hard. We are all dealing with big challenges. Stress levels are high, and many of our support systems are disrupted, disconnecting us from family, friends, colleagues, supports. Research has shown that when we don't connect with others, our brains can't develop optimally or function well. That makes us more likely to have conflict, behavioral problems, anxiety, depression. To add to all this, there is a lot of talk about learning gaps, literacy loss, the COVID slide, creating even more anxiety and worry. But there are things we can do to establish and maintain emotional connection, to help calm mind and body, and to help prepare young children for school in the fall. At ELAR, we know how important reading is for children's brains. We know that brain development, language, and memory are all critical benefits of early reading. We also know that learning happens best when our bodies are in relaxed, receptive, healthy states, and that story time is a rich, sensory, emotional experience. While cuddling, making eye contact, with shared attention, and hearing a voice we love, even taking in each other's scents, we feel safe and open to explore our feelings and express them to one another. This deep sense of well-being is relaxing, and its benefits go both ways. Adults get as much as they give to the child. Storytime nurtures heart-to-heart, gut-to-gut communication while engaging and building the child's brain. Armed with this knowledge, ELAR is developing a summer 2021 initiative called Cuddle Up and Read. Out into the big dark night. Nothing could be farther than the sky.
You have to give them your heart to yours.
Big nut brown hair settled little nut brown hair into his bed of leaves. He leaned over and kissed him good night. Then he lay down close by and whispered with a smile, "I love you right up to the moon and back."
I actually love you. You have to share with your heart, you know?
We started with an educator summit, bringing in international experts and brainstorming with our local early years educators from schools, childcare centers, and the community.
I had always envisioned that teachers who have so much sway with parents and children would understand the lens I'm about to give you today on parent-child social-emotional behavior, and more specifically, autonomic emotional connection and the way to measure it. What we know about the orienting response from these early childhood studies is that you can measure them with the autonomic nervous system. That's the nervous system of your body, of your organs, not the brain. Of course, they're connected, but you should know that the main nerve connecting, say, gut to brain is 80% up and only 20% down, which tells you how important this nervous system is. And it can be measured by heart rate, vagal tone, and galvanic skin response, which you'll recognize as the lie detector test, sweating of the hands. Now, we found that when people understand connection, they want to know, what do you do if it's not good? And what we do are calming cycles to get co-regulation, to get autonomic co-regulation between mother and child. This co-regulation is natural. It begins in utero. It's the gut-to-gut and heart-to-heart communication. It's conditioned. It's conditioned starting in utero. It's interrupted by birth if it's not natural, but it can be reinstated. It gives visceral homeostasis, so the brain can work. It's giving an all clear signal to the brain. Everything's okay down here. And you know if it's not, because one example that tells you how much math can you do if you have diarrhea? Can't do any. And it's the same, any kind of disruption in this autonomic stability interferes with thinking, creativity. It interferes with every function. And of course, we found that when you do establish this co-regulation, the child learns best and can learn from other people other than the parents.
I've got so many different questions for you, but I want to start off by asking you to talk a bit more about reading. I want to get into the theory, but we're here today because of the project and the program about Cuddle Up and Read. So can you make a direct connection between what you're talking about now and a bit more what you talked about with your dad about how is it that when you cuddle up and read, what is actually going on there that parents can learn from and do?
I talked to you about the orienting reflex. And one of the things books do is create that orienting. And not only the orienting to the book, but to the person reading. Okay. And if the parent reads with emotion, then you get this duration of orienting reflex. And it gets around not paying attention. It gets full attention if the parent sustains the emotional expression in the reading.
Now, I wonder what your thoughts are in terms of the impact of COVID just now with
this is a disaster. This is a disaster. For those children for whom the teacher was their only point of connection, it's an unmitigated disaster. It is.
Yeah. So the message of Cuddle Up and Read is going to be so important for those kids who missed out so much.
Yes. If all the parents would do over the summer is cuddle up and read, that would be enough to get over a lot of the ill effects of COVID isolation that have happened in the past year. That would be enough.
Now we are building resources and tools and making connections with community partners like you to start spreading the word. Let's imagine a summer in which Waterloo Region supports positive, language-rich interactions that promote connection and calm, helping parents and children feel safe, secure, and situated, and prepared for the school year ahead. Imagine parents and caregivers well supported with community resources and information as they engage their children in reading as part of their daily routine, understanding the crucial role it plays in foundational development and helping to offset the impacts of the pandemic. Imagine all children recovering with the help of books and reading, with talking and singing, laughing and loving in the arms of those who love them and care for them.